Jax's revenge domain. Mike, HR needs to see you. Those 6 words hit me like a brick on a Tuesday morning. My name's Michael Peterson. I'm 47, and in 22 years with this company, I'd never been called to HR. Not once. I looked up from my computer where I'd been reviewing quality reports for our consumer electronics division. My manager stood in my doorway, his face giving nothing away. You know that expression, the kind that tells you something bad is coming, but you don't know how bad. When? I asked. Now. Look, I wasn't perfect, but inappropriate behavior? That wasn't me. I had a wife, Sarah, who worked nights at Regional Medical. 2 kids, Jessica, 19, finishing her sophomore year at State, and Tommy, 16, already talking about college applications. I didn't mess around, period. The walk to HR felt like walking to my own execution. 22 years I'd been walking these halls. Started as a junior quality tech right out of college at 25, worked my way up to senior quality assurance manager. I had 12 people reporting to me now, built a reputation as the guy who caught problems before they became disasters. But walking toward those frosted glass doors with human resources printed in bold letters, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. Amanda Walsh was waiting for me. HR manager, mid-40s, always professional, but never what you'd call warm. She pointed to the chair across from her desk without bothering with small talk. Thank you for coming in, Michael. We need to discuss your inappropriate comments during yesterday's project review meeting. I blinked hard. My what? She slid a folder across the table. Inside was a typed transcript with sections highlighted in yellow. My heart started hammering as I read words supposedly coming from my mouth. Crude remarks about Jennifer Collins, my division director. Comments about her appearance, her personal life, sexual stuff that made my skin crawl just reading it. This isn't me, I said, my voice getting louder. I didn't say any of this. I barely spoke during that meeting. Amanda tapped her pen against the folder like she was keeping time. 3 employees reported hearing you make these statements. They claim it happened during a brief video feed interruption when we switched to the backup system. That's impossible. Check the recording. Her expression hardened. Unfortunately, that segment of the recording appears to be corrupted. Right. How convenient. For a moment, I just sat there staring at her. Then it clicked. This wasn't about inappropriate comments. This was about shutting me up. 3 weeks earlier, I'd raised concerns during our monthly department meeting about the expansion project. The safety testing data for our new consumer electronics line didn't look right. The numbers had been massaged, failure rates minimized, and somehow critical safety margins had been adjusted to meet regulatory minimums instead of our usual conservative standards. Jennifer had been leading that project. When I'd spoken up, she'd given me one of those thin smiles and told me to trust the process. Trust the process. Right. Since then, everything changed. Colleagues who used to stop by my office kept their distance. Important emails somehow didn't include me. Projects I'd normally review went straight to approval without my input. Here's the thing. I should have seen this coming. Jennifer Collins used to work under me about 10 years ago. I'd recommended her for the supervisor position back when Tommy was in first grade. Thought she had potential. Guess I was right about the potential part, just wrong about what she'd use it for. Before I could say anything else, the door opened without a knock. Amanda straightened up like someone had pulled her spine with a string. Lucas Miller, our CEO, walked in. I'd seen Lucas around the building, of course. Tall guy, maybe mid-50s, always looked like he had everything under control. The kind of presence that makes people pay attention when he walks into a room. Sir, we're in the middle of a disciplinary meeting, Amanda said quickly, smoothing down her blazer. Actually, Lucas said, his voice calm but carrying the kind of authority that makes grown adults sit up straight, that's not why we're here. Amanda went pale so fast I thought she might pass out. She reached to pull the folder back, but Lucas picked it up before she could touch it. Mr. Peterson has been working directly with my office for the past month, he said, settling into the chair next to me. Not across from me, right beside me. What? I nearly jumped out of my skin. I hadn't talked to our CEO once in my entire career. Maybe nodded at him in the elevator a couple times, but that was it. Amanda's voice came out shaky. I don't understand. You will, he replied. Then he turned to me. Mike, would you mind waiting outside for a moment? And on your way, please ask Catherine from legal to join us. Tell her it's time. Time for what? My head was spinning, but I nodded and left the room. Through the frosted glass, I could see their shapes. Lucas leaning forward, Amanda shrinking back like she was trying to disappear into her chair. I found Catherine Rodriguez in the legal department. Sharp woman in her early 50s with gray-streaked hair and eyes that didn't miss anything. She was already grabbing a thick folder when I delivered the message. Finally, she said, "Conference room D. 5 minutes." The elevator ride felt like it took forever. When the doors opened, Catherine was already waiting outside the conference room. She stuck out her hand with a grip that could crush walnuts. "Catherine Rodriguez, you must be Mike." Inside, the blinds were drawn and that thick folder sat on the table looking ominous as hell. "I imagine you're confused," she said as we sat down. "That's putting it mildly," I said. "HR just accused me of sexual harassment. Then our CEO shows up acting like we've been working together for weeks. What's going on?" Catherine studied me for a moment like she was deciding something. "Let me ask you first. Have you noticed anything unusual in the last few weeks? Things that didn't feel right?" I gave a short laugh. "Besides being accused of harassment out of nowhere?" "Yeah. My boss has been freezing me out. Projects I used to lead get reassigned to other people. I find out about meetings after they happen. And 3 weeks ago, I raised concerns about our expansion safety data. And suddenly, I'm invisible around here." Catherine nodded like I'd just confirmed something important. "That matches what we've observed. For months, we've been monitoring irregularities tied to your division. Budget inconsistencies, safety testing delays, suppressed reports." My skin started crawling. "Irregularities how?" Catherine opened the folder. Inside were spreadsheets, emails, internal memos, names I recognized: Jennifer Collins, her deputy Ryan Davis, a mid-level manager named Michelle Torres. The documents showed falsified compliance reports, adjusted safety timelines, even discussions about managing regulatory exposure if certain safety failures were discovered after product launch. I flipped through page after page, my mouth going dry. "This can't be real." "It's very real," Catherine said quietly, "and your name keeps coming up in their communications." My head snapped up. "What? Why?" "Because you asked the wrong questions," she replied. "You spotted issues no one else was supposed to see. They couldn't risk you taking those concerns higher, so they decided to discredit you first. The fabricated transcript, the harassment allegations, it was all a setup. If I became a problem, they'd have grounds to fire me and destroy my reputation in the process." Listen, at 47 years old with 22 years at this company, I knew how things worked. Office politics, corporate games. But this was different. This was calculated. "But why is Lucas involved?" I asked. "Why step in for me?" "Because you're not the only one who noticed," Catherine said. "A quiet audit began 4 months ago after unusual expenses appeared in the product safety budget. Lucas has been personally overseeing it. When you raised those concerns in the meeting, it confirmed what we already suspected. The weight of it hit me. My whole career, my family's financial security, everything was hanging by a thread. Sarah was 3 years from early retirement from the hospital. Jessica still had 2 years left at state, and that was costing us $28,000 a year. Tommy would be starting college applications next year, and we all knew state tuition wasn't getting any cheaper. On my current salary of $95,000, we were managing okay, but just barely. House payment, car payments, Jessica's tuition, and trying to save for Tommy's college and our retirement. If I lost this job at 47, who was going to hire me? Sure, I had experience, but companies these days wanted younger employees they could pay less. "So what happens now?" I asked. Catherine's expression softened a little. "Now we build the case, with your help." "Why me?" "Because you've seen it firsthand. You've lived the retaliation. Your testimony combined with these documents gives us something undeniable." I stared at the folder. My name wasn't just mentioned in those pages. I was a target. "This isn't just about saving your job, Mike," Catherine continued. "It's about protecting consumers and, frankly, people's lives. If these products hit the market the way Jennifer's team has designed them, the consequences could be catastrophic." That got my attention. I thought about Jessica using the electronics we manufactured, about Tommy and his friends with their gadgets, about Sarah coming home exhausted from 12-hour shifts, trusting that the medical equipment her hospital bought was safe and reliable. "You're asking me to go against my own boss, someone I helped train 10 years ago. I'm asking you to tell the truth," Catherine corrected. The room was quiet except for the wall clock ticking. Here's what was going through my mind. If I walked away, took early retirement maybe, Jennifer's products would still ship. And if something went wrong, if people got hurt, I'd know I could have stopped it. Finally, I nodded. Okay, I'll help. Catherine closed the folder, relief crossing her face. Good, because it starts now. Your HR meeting was bait. While Lucas keeps them occupied, we're preparing for the next phase. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that yellow, highlighted transcript. The lies Amanda had slid across the table. The way she'd looked at me like I was already guilty. Sarah noticed when she got home from her shift at 7 a.m. "You look terrible," she said, still in her scrubs. I told her everything. About the safety concerns, the retaliation, the fake harassment charges. She listened without interrupting, which is one of the things I love about her after 23 years of marriage. She doesn't jump to conclusions. When I finished, she sat quietly for a long moment. 22 years, she said finally. You've given them 22 years. I know. And this Jennifer person, didn't you help her get promoted back when Tommy was little? Yeah. I recommended her for the supervisor position. Thought she had integrity. Sarah shook her head. Some people show their true colors when they get a little power. She was right. I'd seen it before. Good employees who became terrible managers. But Jennifer wasn't just terrible. She was dangerous. By the time I got to the office that morning, everything felt different. People stopped talking when I walked by. A few whispered behind their hands. Word travels fast in a company our size, and obviously something had leaked about yesterday's HR drama. My assistant, Carol, had been with me for 6 years. She knew my coffee order, my schedule, when I was stressed. That morning she looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Everything okay, Mike? She asked carefully. Just some administrative stuff, I said. Nothing to worry about. But we both knew it was more than that. At 10:15, my phone buzzed. Text from Catherine. Conference room D. Bring your laptop. Time to download everything. My hands were steadier than I expected as I grabbed my laptop and headed upstairs. Lucas and Catherine were already waiting when I arrived. Both looked calm in a way that somehow made me more nervous. Sit, Lucas said. Not unfriendly, but all business. Catherine slid a USB drive across the table. Plug this in. We need access to your division's shared files. My throat went dry. Access to what? Files that Jennifer has restricted under project permissions. You still have secondary clearance as senior manager. My fingers hesitated above the keyboard. If she finds out I accessed those files. She will, Lucas interrupted. But by then, it won't matter. That was reassuring. I plugged in the drive and logged in. The shared drive opened, showing dozens of folders. Catherine pointed to one labeled Archive 2024. Start there. Inside were lab reports that made my stomach drop. Test failures highlighted in red. Flammability ratings below standard. Toxicity thresholds that exceeded safe levels. Impact resistance failures. These were the results I'd tried to show in that meeting 3 weeks ago. Jennifer had dismissed them as preliminary data. They weren't preliminary. They were final. And they were damning. Keep looking, Catherine said quietly. There's more. I clicked on another folder labeled Risk Assessment Files. What I found there stopped me cold. A spreadsheet titled Market Strategy Risk Matrix. The columns made my skin crawl. Projected consumer complaints, estimated injury cases, probable fatalities. Next to each category were dollar figures. The cost of potential lawsuits weighed against projected revenue. This is sick, I whispered. This is fraud, Lucas said flatly. Criminal negligence. And if regulators see this, it's federal charges. I scrolled through more files. Email chains discussing how to minimize regulatory attention. Memos about acceptable risk thresholds for consumer safety. A cost-benefit analysis that literally put price tags on human lives. Look, I've been in quality assurance for over 2 decades. I've seen corners cut, budgets squeezed, timelines compressed, but this was different. This was systematic. This was evil. How long has this been going on? I asked. We think about 8 months, Catherine said, right around the time Jennifer got promoted to division director. That stung. I'd pushed for her promotion, went to bat for her with senior management, told them she understood quality processes that she'd learned from me. Guess I taught her too well. She knew exactly how to bypass the systems I'd helped build. "We need your account, your testimony," Catherine continued. "Proof that you raised concerns and were silenced." I stared at the screen. If I do this, Jennifer will destroy me. She's got allies in management, people who've been here longer than me. "She already tried, Mike," Lucas said, his eyes locking on mine. "What you saw in HR yesterday was her endgame. The only way out is through." He was right. I could walk away, take early retirement, try to forget all this, but those products would ship anyway. And if something went wrong, if kids got hurt using our electronics, if families lost loved ones because we cut corners, I'd know I could have stopped it. "What do you need me to do?" Catherine slid a document across the table. "Whistleblower Protection Agreement. Legal language guaranteeing immunity from retaliation and continued employment. Sign this first," she said. "Then we document everything. Every meeting you were excluded from, every report you flagged, every instance of retaliation." I held the pen. My hand was surprisingly steady. "What happens to Jennifer? If the evidence supports it, termination, possible criminal charges. Definitely the end of her career in this industry." That should have made me feel better. Instead, I just felt sad. 10 years ago, Jennifer had been eager, smart, asking good questions about quality protocols. Somewhere along the way, she'd lost her moral compass. I signed the document. Catherine gathered the papers like she'd been waiting for this moment for months. "Good, because tomorrow Jennifer presents her expansion proposal to the board, and you'll be in the room." My stomach dropped. "In the room?" As in, ready to confirm what she denies, Lucas said. "The board needs to hear from someone who witnessed the cover-up firsthand." The boardroom. I'd been in there maybe 3 times in 22 years. Big mahogany table, leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown. Where the real decisions got made. "What about the regulators Catherine mentioned? Are they coming?" Lucas smiled for the first time that day. "That's the beauty of federal oversight. When you're dealing with consumer electronics that cross state lines, the Consumer Safety Commission, Electronics Testing Bureau, and Trade Regulatory Affairs all have jurisdiction. They're very interested in our expansion plans." That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a beer, staring at the legal documents Catherine had given me. Sarah came down around 11 p.m., still in her pajamas. "Can't sleep?" she asked. "Keep thinking about tomorrow." She sat across from me. "You know what I told my patients tonight? That you're doing the right thing. That after 22 years of building a reputation, you're not about to let someone destroy it with lies. What if I'm wrong? What if there's something I'm missing?" Sarah reached across and took my hand. "Mike, you've been catching quality problems for over 2 decades. You've saved this company millions in recalls and lawsuits. Trust your instincts." She was right. My track record spoke for itself. 0 major quality failures on products I'd approved. 3 industry safety awards. A reputation as someone who wouldn't sign off on anything questionable. "Besides," Sarah added, "Jessica called tonight. She heard you might be getting a promotion. Word travels fast in a small town." I looked at her. "Who told her that?" "Carol's daughter goes to school with Tommy. Apparently Carol heard something about a VP position opening up. A VP position. That would mean a significant salary increase. Maybe $130,000, $140,000. Enough to secure Jessica's remaining tuition, set Tommy up for college, and give Sarah the option to retire a year early if she wanted. But first I had to survive tomorrow. The next morning felt like preparing for battle. I put on my best suit, the navy one Sarah bought me for my 45th birthday. Ate breakfast even though I wasn't hungry. Kissed Sarah goodbye like it might be the last normal morning we'd have. "Give them hell," she said. The office was buzzing with energy. Word had gotten out that the board was meeting, that something big was happening. I kept my head down, reviewed my notes one last time, and waited for Catherine's text. At 9:45 a.m., my phone buzzed. "Showtime. Boardroom A. Come ready to tell the truth." The elevator ride to the executive floor felt like the longest minute of my life. When the doors opened, I could see activity in the boardroom through the glass walls. Board members arriving, assistants distributing documents, Jennifer standing at the head of the table looking confident and polished. Catherine met me outside the doors. "Remember, just tell them what you experienced. Be specific. Be factual. Let the documents speak for themselves. What about Jennifer? What if she tries to discredit me? She will, Catherine said, but we're ready for that. Through the glass, I could see Jennifer clicking through her presentation slides. Revenue projections, market analysis, expansion timelines. Everything looked professional, convincing. If I didn't know what I knew, I'd probably be impressed. One more thing, Catherine said. The regulators are already inside. They've seen preliminary evidence. Jennifer doesn't know they're coming. That's when I saw them. 3 people I didn't recognize, sitting quietly at the side of the table. Professional, serious, taking notes. Catherine opened the heavy wooden doors. Ready? I straightened my tie and walked in. The boardroom was intimidating as always. Massive table, leather chairs, 12 board members already seated. Jennifer stood at the head of the table in her cream-colored suit, looking confident and completely in control. She didn't acknowledge me as I slipped quietly into a back chair. To her, I wasn't supposed to exist today. Thank you all for coming, she began, clicking her remote. I'm excited to present our Asian expansion progress. Her voice was smooth, her slides professional. Revenue projections, market analysis, partnership opportunities. Anyone who didn't know better would believe every word. Hell, 6 months ago, I would have believed it. She clicked through growth curves and profit margins like she was reading the weather. Our consumer electronics line is positioned for unprecedented growth in emerging markets. Sean Thompson, one of the senior board members, shifted in his chair. What about regulatory compliance? We've heard concerns from regional offices. Jennifer didn't miss a beat. Initial testing suggested minor delays, but subsequent analysis confirmed full compliance. We're actually ahead of schedule on safety certifications. Complete lies. My jaw tightened as she clicked through fabricated charts showing safety approvals that didn't exist. Any questions about our safety protocols? She asked confidently. That's when Lucas raised his hand. Before we continue, we have additional attendees joining us today. Jennifer's smile flickered for just a second. She glanced around the room and for the first time noticed the 3 people sitting quietly at the side table. Her shoulders stiffened. Ms. Patricia Morgan from the Consumer Safety Commission, Lucas said, Mr. Oliver Williams from the Electronics Testing Bureau, and Ms. Rebecca Johnson from Trade Regulatory Affairs. The temperature in the room shifted. Jennifer's confident expression cracked slightly, but she recovered quickly. What a pleasant surprise, she said, though her voice carried a tremor. We welcome regulatory oversight. The 3 regulators nodded politely but said nothing. Their eyes were sharp, watching everything. Jennifer clicked to her next slide, speaking faster now. As you can see, our safety margins exceed industry standards. Actually, Catherine said, standing up from her seat near the back. I'd like to present some supplemental materials. Jennifer's face went pale. I'm sorry, who are you? Catherine Rodriguez, Legal Department. With the board's permission, I'd like to share some documents that relate to this expansion. Lucas nodded once. Proceed. Catherine connected her tablet to the projector. Jennifer's polished charts disappeared, replaced by something much uglier, the risk assessment matrix I'd seen the day before. The room went dead silent. This spreadsheet, Catherine said calmly, outlines a strategy to bypass safety regulations by releasing non-compliant products. It includes calculated projections of consumer injuries and fatalities weighed against profit margins. You could have heard a pin drop. The regulators leaned forward, their faces grim. Murmurs rippled through the board. Jennifer's confident smile completely collapsed. This is some kind of mistake. I've never seen that document. Catherine swiped to another screen. Email chains with Jennifer's name in the sender field, discussing how to manage unfavorable test results and minimize regulatory exposure. These can't be authentic, Jennifer said, her voice getting higher. Someone's manipulated these files. The metadata confirms authenticity, Catherine replied smoothly, as do statements from 3 members of your team who cooperated with our investigation. I saw Ryan Davis in the front row, staring at the table, refusing to look at Jennifer. Michelle Torres sat next to him, looking sick. The betrayal on Jennifer's face was visible from across the room. Mr. Peterson, Lucas said. My cue. My legs felt like concrete as I stood and walked to the front. Every eye in the room was on me, but I kept my focus on Sean Thompson. You raised concerns about these safety issues 3 weeks ago, correct? He asked. My throat was dry, but my voice came out steady. Yes, sir. I brought test results directly to Jennifer, showing multiple safety failures. Flammability issues, toxicity problems, impact resistance below standards. She dismissed them as preliminary data. They were preliminary, Jennifer interrupted desperately. No, ma'am, they weren't, I said firmly. I've been doing quality assurance for 22 years. Those were final reports. I tried to raise the issues again in our conference call with Nicholas Foster from Regional Operations. The video feed cut out before I could finish, and Jennifer contradicted me afterward. I paused, then continued. Yesterday, I was called to HR with a fabricated transcript accusing me of sexual harassment. That was their plan. Discredit me before I could expose what I'd found. The boardroom erupted in low voices. Ms. Walsh from Consumer Safety was writing furiously in her notepad. Jennifer stood abruptly, her composure completely gone. This is character assassination. He's bitter about being passed over for promotion. He's making this up. Then perhaps you can explain, Catherine said, clicking to another screen showing server logs. Why your login credentials accessed these risk assessment files repeatedly over the past 3 months. For the first time, Jennifer had no answer. The silence stretched out painfully. Security will escort Ms. Collins and her associates out, effective immediately, Lucas announced. As security moved toward the front of the room, Jennifer turned and looked directly at me. Her eyes burned with fury, but underneath I saw something else. Fear. Real fear. The next few days were chaos. News spread through the company like wildfire. Departments that had been under Jennifer's control operated in confused silence. People avoided eye contact in hallways, unsure who had been loyal to whom. A week later, Catherine called me into Lucas's office. The CEO looked tired, but relieved. Mike, he said without preamble, the board voted unanimously last night. We're creating a new position. Vice President of Quality Assurance and Regulatory Compliance. Independent oversight, direct board reporting. We'd like you to take it. The salary increase was substantial, from $95,000 to $145,000. Stock options, enhanced retirement package, enough to secure Jessica's remaining tuition, set Tommy up for college, and give Sarah the option to retire early if she wanted. More importantly, real authority to implement change. Anonymous reporting systems for safety concerns. Independent safety audits with outside firms. A direct line to the board for quality issues. What happened to Jennifer? I asked. Terminated for cause. The FBI is reviewing the case for potential federal charges. She won't work in this industry again. 6 months later, I sat in my new corner office watching the sunset. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You were right. I was wrong. I'm sorry. No signature, but I knew who it was. I stared at the message for a long time, then deleted it without replying. Some apologies come too late. That night, Sarah and I sat on our back deck with a couple of beers. Tommy was inside doing homework. Jessica had called earlier, excited about her internship prospects for next summer. So, Sarah said, was it worth it? I thought about the sleepless nights, the fear, the moment in HR when I thought my career was over. I thought about the spreadsheet calculating human lives against profit margins. I thought about the young engineers who now felt safe raising concerns. Yeah, I said finally. Some fights are worth having, because in the end, it wasn't just about my job or my family's security. It was about proving that integrity still matters, that one person willing to speak up can make a difference. At 47, with 22 years in this industry, I'd learned that sometimes the most important battles are the ones you never expected to fight. And sometimes, if you're lucky and you're right, you actually win. Because here's what 22 years taught me. Your reputation isn't just what you've built, it's what you're willing to risk to keep it clean. And in a world where it's easier to stay quiet, sometimes the most radical thing you can do is simply tell the truth.